All right, we're going to start out tonight in Alabama, and we'll talk with Brenda. Hi, Brenda. What do you got for us tonight, my friend?
Okay, I'm in Luke chapter 2. I'm going to just start in verse 46, 49. When their mama went for the Passover and Jesus stayed behind in the temple. And he said, why were you searching for me? He asked. Didn't you know I had to be in my Father's house? But they did not understand what he was saying to them. Had they forgot what happened 12 years earlier? And even better yet, then it says, then he went down to Nazareth with them and was obedient to them. Well, he was always obedient to them because he was without sin.
Okay. All right, well, let's talk about that. Yeah, just because it says he's obedient to them doesn't imply that he wasn't obedient. So I think you may be reading a lot into the text that's causing a concern for you. Jesus is fully human in addition to being fully God, and he's growing, the scripture says, at that time, he's growing in wisdom and stature. And he's interacting with his parents on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. He's living every day on planet Earth, fully God, but he became for a little while lower than the angels, Hebrews says. And the book of Philippians talks about how he gave up his rights. He emptied himself. And he's living in the present. And, even regarding topics like his return, he says, nobody knows. Nobody knows the day nor the hour. He says it's not given to me to know. Only the Father knows in heaven. So this period of time, this 33-year period, is pretty unique because the Son of God has given up his rights. He's emptied himself. He is living as fully God but fully man. And you need to hear that fully human part because that brings certain, confinements, doesn't it? I mean, you put a nail in his hand and it hurts. You put nails in his feet and it hurts. He's truly human. So he's living in the moment, dialoguing with his parents, and it doesn't mean that he ceases to be deity or something. So I think you may just be reading a lot into this as if he has to conduct himself in pure God mode all the time. I think you might want to factor in some humanity, some messiness there, some growing. How does Jesus grow in wisdom? You could kick back with, well, I thought he was God. He's got perfect wisdom. How could he grow in wisdom? You say he grew in stature. Well, sure, I get that, but how did he grow in wisdom if he was already God? So, the humanity of Christ is factoring in here. And God becomes man, and he relates to us. And 2,000 years ago, he's relating to Mary and Joseph in the confines of time. And he's a time creature with us for a little while. And so I think that's ultimately where you got to go with this. This does not show a flaw in Jesus. It does not show a shortcoming in Jesus. And as far as their memory, do they remember him being born? Do they remember his miraculous conception? Of course they do. But that doesn't mean they're mind readers. I mean, why is he in the temple? What is he doing up there by himself? They've got a lot of questions. They're just humans. Mary and Joseph, they don't have the scriptures like we do. They're not privy to Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. They're not looking with hindsight. They're living in the midst of it, and it's happening to them in the moment, and a lot of it is a big surprise. So what does it mean that Mary gives birth to Jesus? What does it mean that he's the Christ? What does it mean that he's the teenager and yet he's the Christ, but he's a teenager and I'm supposed to take care of him, but he's God, so I'm supposed to take care of God? I mean, you can see how a young woman would be very confused about, exactly what's the timeline here, what's my role as the mother, and when is Jesus ready for his, quote, mission? And, they come to him at the wedding and he turns water into wine and he's saying it's not yet my time. So clearly Mary and Joseph did not get a download of the predestined plan with a little map and a timeline. So they're living in the moment. And I think that's what you're witnessing there in the book of Luke. So, Brenda, thanks for your question tonight in Alabama. Call us back anytime. Great to hear from you.